weekly 5-session days at the House of Representatives starting next week are expected to speed up legislative action on the proposed Bangsamoro Basic Law. And House leaders are again appealing to legislators to be present to ensure approval of pending priority measures. The details of this report from Freddie Abando.
Time may be running out for Congress to approve the draft Bangsamoro Basic Law to implement the peace agreement signed by the government and the Moro Islamic Liberation Front in March 2014. Although the House was the first to conduct floor debates for the BBL in May, its approval has been delayed due to the lack of a quorum for most of the session days in August. For the past 2 weeks, it has improved. The decision of the leadership in the House, led by Speaker Feliciano Belmonte, to hold a 5-day work week in the House starting Monday for 5 weeks may reverse the sagging fortunes of the BBL. Speaker Belmonte called on members listed to interpolate the authors to be present, so with those opposed to the draft law. Belmonte said it's the responsibility of every Solon to vote yes or no for a measure to end 43 years of the Muslim rebellion in Mindanao. The government's chief negotiator, Professor Miriam Coronel Ferrer, is hoping Congress is committed to the cause of peace. Congressman Tupay Luong appealed to his peers for support by being present for the plenary debate. Luong was among the first batch of Muslim revolutionaries that started the rebellion in 1972.
It's going to happen within the year. We probably just need to be patient and also to allow some, give some more leeway to our legislators to get their acts together. But otherwise, listening to their leaders and also to the main proponents, the intention is there. But really, it's also for the people to watch over the process. If you have too many absentee legislators, it's very legitimate for the citizen to ask, are you doing your job? You should at the very least be present during the very few session days that are left before they.
We are now running after time. Now, the number one consideration is members of Congress should really attend, because this is our job. We are mandated by the people to represent them in all aspects of development. And this is a very important development, because we are now talking about achieving peace, to respond to the aspiration of our people. Because our people, not only the Bangsamoro, but the entire Filipino people is aspiring for peace. They wanted to live under the atmosphere of peace.
Approval of the BBL will also depend on whether both houses of Congress will consider a resolution of the Bangsamoro Transition Commission to restore 28 provisions amended or deleted from the original bill submitted by Malacanang. However, it has been rejected. Ferrer and Luong are hoping the provision on strategic minerals to be administered by the Bangsamoro government should be restored, since it will boost economic development in the core territories.
Para sa akin, the most important is strategic mineral. In the comprehensive agreement, the strategic mineral is placed under concurrent power, meaning there is a joint power between the central government and the Bangsamoro government. And now, nawala yun, linagay na lang only consultation with the Bangsamoro people. So para sa akin, I think that's one of the most important provision that should not be taken out from the original draft of the Bangsamoro Basic Law.
Why, sir?
Because that is minerals, and there is a high possibility that there are strategic mineral can be found in the Bangsamoro territory. So if that will happen, if there is no role of the Bangsamoro government, then we will be left behind in terms of development.
Ferrer is also pushing for the restoration of the provision which sets the membership in Parliament Bangsamoro Autonomous Region. 60 members will be elected. Majority are party-less. District representatives are the minority. The rest are reserved members. However, in the amended version in the Senate, it's the reverse. There are more district representatives than party-less. This will mean political clans will continue to maintain power, giving less representation from other sectors. In the meantime, Luong said there is no reason for some of his peers to be concerned the MILF will retain their firearms even after the approval of the BBL and during the transition period. Magdalo Party List Congressman Gary Alejano is pushing for a provision in the BBL that will guarantee that funds from the block grant will not be used to purchase more firearms. Luong said approval will speed up the decommissioning process for the MILF to turn over their firearms.
That we have experienced several years ago when election was conducted during the Peace Final Agreement entered into by the Moro National Liberation Front and the government. The firearms of the MNLF is in their possession, but because the COMELEC will always use the armed forces of the Philippines and the Philippine National Police to secure the voting center, they cannot do anything because they are not allowed to go to the voting place with firearms. Now, in this case, if you will ask me, how can we ask the Bangsamoro revolutionary movement to turn over all their firearms when the law is not even passed? So they are not even sure whether they are a candidate or not. So the only way is finish everything, put everything in place, and then that will justify that the total committee will be done smoothly.
For the People's Television Network, this is Freddie Abando reporting.